Welcome to another episode of the Lone Recruiter Podcast. I'm your host, Brett Clemenson, and if you're a recruiter out on your own or just lacking general guidance or mentorship, then you've come to the right place. Our episodes are designed to give you the advice, the motivation, and the strategies you need to become the very best lone recruiter. So, join us, grab a cup of coffee. I don't have one, I've got a water. And let's take your desk to another level. Now, today, I want to show you the simplest way to get a client in recruitment. I want to start by saying this is not groundbreaking. It's also not revolutionary. And I think a lot of us know this trick. But still, I'm on a lot of Facebook pages for startup recruitment agencies or for very small agencies, a lot of groups on LinkedIn, and I still see all the time people throwing out questions. Hey, I'm struggling to get a client. I don't know how to get a client. Or I've just decided to open an agency up and I'm 6 months in, I still haven't got a job to work on. And I look at this and go, there's some very simple ways to help these people. And this episode is for people in those shoes. You might have been in a great thriving market and maybe things have changed and you've forgotten how to go and chase a client. I'm going to give you a playbook. Don't worry, don't stress. Within a few minutes, you're going to have a new client, okay? So, I think it all starts with knowing your niche. We all have an area that we like to specialize in. We kind of have, whether it's admin or HR or whether it's a very niche engineering space or lawyers, or whatever it might be. This is totally applicable. So the first thing you want to do is know your niche. And hopefully you've already got that. So let's go to the second bit. Within that niche, you're probably playing in a jurisdiction or a region or a city. So let's just say you're doing it within Sydney, okay? So know your niche. We're going to then know what location we are servicing that niche. And what I want you to do for step 2 is create the client list. So you might say, but I don't have a client. Well, no, but you've got client targets. So if you know that you're looking for a specific type of engineer who does a specific type of road project, well, you go to Google and you look it up and you go to LinkedIn, you're going to be able to within a day, map out who are every single company or potential company in Sydney that use this skill set and essentially turn it into a potential client list. You might have 100 companies there, 50 companies, depending how big your market is, 20 companies. 50 is a good number. If you've got a market that has 50 to 100, it's a good number. So 1, know your niche. 2, make sure you got a client list. 3, now, this is where it gets a bit interesting. Go and see what skills that client list are looking for. Okay, so if you can go to Seek, Career One, you can go to Indeed, you can go to their websites, you can go to LinkedIn, just simply look for ads from these companies and let's just see what patterns start to emerge. If all of a sudden now you're starting to see that they're looking for a very specific level and a very specific tech or skill set or degree or whatever that might be, you might start seeing these, what I call piles of work form. Okay, these 5 companies are all looking for the same bit. You might have this in a spreadsheet or a Word doc or whatever. You might see that there's like 5 companies who need that skill set. You might see one skill set needed there, one. I'd kind of ignore the ones for now. I'd be looking for the piles of work. And that's a really simple way to start to establish, okay, there's a need there. They're all looking for the same thing. There can't be too many of these people out there. So that's the third step. Work out the needs. The fourth one, and this is where you're going to start to actually get your hands dirty and get into how we're going to approach these clients. So the fourth one is to actually find a CV or a profile that matches the jobs that are being advertised. So you might go on the back end to Seek, you might go to LinkedIn and go to Open Opportunities and start pulling these people out that match those skills and having quick conversation with them saying, hey, what are you looking for? You're active. Okay, cool. You're on the market. What are you looking for? I might have a few roles here. We've got a few clients here that are looking for that. Have you spoken to them? Do the usual thing. Basically get a live CV, ready to rock and roll. And then number 5, and this is how you're going to get your client, you're going to canvas or you're going to call every single company on that list and you're going to canvas them that profile. Of course, you're going to gravitate to where those roles are. That's the low-hanging fruit and the obvious one. But if they're looking, almost guarantee their competitors are looking as well. And hopefully, by the end of a day or two, by going through those 5 steps, you're starting to get some yeses. Yes, okay, we are interested in that CV. You get the CV in, and once you got the CV in, You can consider them a client and you can start opening those doors and conversations around recruitment, around your services, around what you can do for them. Ask them those questions around how have you gone with this role? You're obviously looking at this CV, so you need more comparisons, or you haven't had any luck yet. It could go any many ways, but it's about how do we crack a client? What is the approach? For me, it's those 5 steps. 1, know your niche. 2, it's to create a client list within that niche and location. And it's 3, working out exactly what that client list is looking for in terms of level and skill set. 4, let's go and find a profile or a CV that matches or meets those needs. And then 5, let's go and call those companies and say, we have skills for these people. Now, the thing is, right, you might not nail the brief. You might not have the perfect CV, but you've got the conversation going. If you're calling them, and I've got some examples here, and I can email them if you join the mailing list, hello@thelonerecruiter.com, but I'll go through it now, is that they might say, yes, send the CV. Obviously, you want to then take a bit of a brief. Hey, what do you need? But, for number 5, the canvas call, for me, it's a pretty standardized canvas. It's something like, hey, I've recently interviewed a senior engineer with 7 years experience in Sydney. The reason for the call is that they've been working for GHD now and looking at their options in the market. They've just finished delivering the Contam Sites component for a large $100 million infrastructure project, and they feel now is a good time to assess other options. I noted you had a role in your website. Is this someone that you might be interested in having a look at for that? Yes. If they say yes, great. What's the role? What have you got in mind? I'll take it back to them. Most companies will understand what you're asking now, which is, well, I can't just send the CV. I've got to give them a bit of a brief. If they say no, we don't need your help, thanks. We've got a talent team, or we've got that filled, or whatever. That's fine, no worries. I always ask the next question, which is there anyone in your business that may be interested in this? If they say no, I say, cool. Well, are there any other needs you're struggling to fill currently? Once you've got them on the phone, you've got to make sure you get these questions in. They say no. Okay, fine. What's your email? It'd be good to keep in touch, that sort of thing. LinkedIn with them and move on. If they say yes, there are other needs, you go, cool, well, maybe I can assist. And this is where you get a bit like, what are the needs? Are you able to use recruiters? Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Cool. I can be there to survey. Do you want to grab a coffee? What are you doing? Boom. Client. This isn't hard. Like I said at the start, it's not rocket science. You're all probably doing a lot of this, but for those who aren't, or are really struggling, or really in a depth of despair, and they need a client, I would follow those 5 steps, and trust me, you're going to find some work. That's what we have time for you today on the Lone Recruiter podcast. If you got any value out of today's episode, as always, can you subscribe, rate us, give us a 5-star rating, follow us on LinkedIn, share this episode on LinkedIn. It helps make this thing grow. We're really enjoying what we're pumping out, but we want to keep seeing it growing. So help us out where you can. And as always, have a great day, and may all your deals come true.